Good evening, everybody. This is Chris McNabb with my case study for Module 6 related to Standard 5. This is my second attempt doing this. Evidently, I like to talk too much and might used up my 15 minutes, so I'm going to try to go a little bit faster here. What I know that I have a teacher, Miss Walker. She's having trouble with her students. She has high expectations, a high level of rigor in her class, but it's frustrating students and parents. It's frustrating them so much that they are complaining about her. So that's a big deal. Um, and it's gone as far as someone has created a website saying derogatory things about her and possibly making an implied a threat towards her, or she's taking it as a threat. What I need to know, I want to know, where did this website originate from? Was it from a school computer or a private one? Um, I need to know what exactly was said on there. Was it multiple people expressing different opinions, or was it one person? Are any laws violated on the website? Are school policies violated? Third thing I need to know, I have an idea, but I need to know exactly what's going on in her class. Why has she not implemented the suggestions I've made to her about her teaching? Short-term problem is I need to get to the bottom of this website um, and make sure that if I'm able to hold somebody responsible and accountable for it, that I do so. But long term, I need to fix that problem in the classroom. What can I do to help her with her students? For whatever reason, she's not connecting with them, and I need to get to the bottom of that. Plan of action. Basically, I'm going to contact the district's technology department first thing and see what we can do. Can we see if it was what computer was used to make it? School computers or private? Can we find out who did it? If it's either one of those, can we find out who actually did produce that website? And if it was a school, I'm sure that would violate our internet use agreement, and we need to make sure that it does before we proceed. Second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to contact the district office and let my superiors know there what's going on. And I'm going to ask for help from the legal team just to make sure that I'm doing everything correct according to the laws. If it turns out it was on a private computer, do we have any legal recourse? Do we have any way at all of doling out consequences to that student? Um, do such websites violate district policy? It's one thing then for them to use school computers to produce those things. It's a whole nother to go on social media or produce a website, criticizing or threatening teachers or school personnel. Does that violate a policy? And then we need to make sure that we're meeting our legal responsibilities towards Miss Walker and her safety. If something does happen and that's a perceived threat on that website, what are our liability there if we don't do something about it? Third plan of action, I'm going to continue to meet with Miss Walker and get to the bottom of this. See what the deal is. It mentions in this case study that she thinks a student named Randy was involved. I would not meet with that student. She says the principal in the case study says that he would set up a meeting with her, the student, and the principal. I definitely would not do that. I would not do that unless I had proof that Randy was involved. I would not go around accusing a student of something or even make him think that I thought he was involved unless I had some kind of proof. And maybe that's the problem in her class. If she's accusing students without proof of things, that will cause resentment. But I need to get to the bottom of what's going on in her class and the issues she has with students. Strategies. Basically, I'm gonna find out what we're able to do technologically speaking. I need to better understand the district policies, and I'm going to try to get some safeguards put in place to make sure that school computers aren't being used, or if they are, that we can trace those kind of things. I would work with the district to develop a policy for future incidents. Make sure that we have a good policy in place. I'd also educate students and staff on the legal issues involved. I work with the legal department at our school or district, and make sure that everybody's on the same page as far as the legalities of such things. And I would also work with law enforcement. If laws are being broken, law enforcement will get involved, and want to make sure we're on the same page with them, and that we're doing things correctly to help them out, at the same time protecting our stakeholders. And then the last strategies concern Miss Walker. The case study mentions that I gave her some suggestions, but she didn't implement them. I think I would make it more formal and put her on an improvement plan so that she would, be compelled to, try to use those strategies. Um, I'd also, educate students, on how to handle such things. Um, the consequences of doing what they did. There's other ways to get your voice heard that are more productive and more appropriate. And I would educate them and help them develop those abilities. I think I'd also spend some time trying to convince students and parents just how beneficial it is to have high expectations and rigor in a classroom. I don't know that that's the only issue, but I think sometimes parents, the first time their students faced with maybe the possibility of getting a B, they tend to overreact. And sometimes students just have to work harder. They have to adjust. It's not pleasant. It can be difficult, but that's the real world, and our job is to help them be ready for the real world. So I would work with Miss Walker, but I would also try to convince parents, and students that there's nothing wrong with being challenged or having a difficult teacher. Problem resolution. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get to the bottom of the website. Do I have any legal recourse or legal responsibilities? Can I hold that student accountable? First, can I find out if they are responsible? Then, are there consequences that I can implement for that student? If there's not, then I need to work to create, policies and get a process in place where we can hold students accountable for that. They just can't go around doing that. Angry students can't be allowed to harass teachers they disagree with. You just can't have schools allowing that to happen. They need to learn to handle things in a more productive manner. In terms of Miss Walker, I would put on an improvement plan. I really would really sell her on the fact that she needs to get this fixed. She's in her second year. She needs to learn how to establish relationships with the students in the classroom so they will work for her and attempt to meet her high expectations and not resent her when they can't meet it. She needs to figure that out, and if she can't, she needs to understand that she may be let go. Debriefing, as I was thinking about this, had a lot of things I was going through my head. I was thinking it might be difficult to prove who made the website, and even if we can find them, we do punish that one person. The main problem exists, the frustration with Ms. Walker. And I was hoping, that the district would have clear-cut policies and guidelines on this, because I think this is a situation where you don't want to go into it just kind of winging it. We need to make sure that we're, dotting our I's and crossing our T's and making sure everything's legit, and that we're approaching the investigation and the punishment, if any, in the appropriate way, in the responsible way. What I was feeling, I was feeling a lot of disappointment with students and parents that they don't see the value in the rigor and challenges of her class, Miss Walker's class. I was disappointed Miss Walker wasn't trying harder on her part to, convince the students of the benefits of high expectations. I was disappointed in the students that felt this is the best way for them to express their frustrations. There's other ways of going about it. So I wish they would have, taken a different path. What I was valuing, I really valued the students that weren't involved in this. There's lots of good kids out there, and it takes one or two, kids to do the wrong thing to kind of paint everybody in that same light. But there's students that are in that class that aren't involved in that website, and they're trying hard to meet her expectations the right way. I was appreciative of the staff that do have rigorous classrooms yet develop relationships with their students. I appreciate that. You can't overlook the value of that. And then there's another group of staff members and teachers that they're not perfect, but they take constructive criticism and they try to improve. And I appreciate that. Miss Walker is not one of them, evidently. Unresolved issues. Are there other websites out there? about other teachers? Do we have the ability to track these websites? What are the legal issues for such websites in situations such as this for the school, the students, and the teacher? And the underlying concern of Miss Walker and her effectiveness as a teacher. That still remains to be seen if she's going to be able to fix her problems. Uh, reflecting on the standards. You know, as far as component one, demonstrating a sense of integrity and ethical behavior. I think I did this by meeting with my staff and being honest with Miss Walker. Saying she does have a role in this. It's not just some random students being unhappy. I mean, she has kind of created this situation based on the case study. And I'm assuming that based on what is said in there, that she does have a role in this. And I'm gonna be honest with her about that. I think teachers appreciate that when you're honest with them. I'm not accusing her, but the reality is, nobody's perfect, and we create the environment that we have in our classroom for the most part. Um, when I decide not to accuse the student Randy without proof, I think this shows integrity and ethics. Uh, you know, I, I have a hard time trusting Miss Walker when she says he's the one. It sounds to me that like she has it's personal with her, and that she's created kind of her own personal battle with this young man. I'm not going to accuse him without proof. Um, so I think that reflects ethics and integrity. Acting with fairness. I'm trying to see both sides of this issue. Miss Walker, she needs support. I truly believe that administrators should support their teachers. Um, but at the same time, you have to take the students' frustration into account. We're there to teach students and help them learn and grow as people, and we have to do that. And as far as being fair with Miss Walker, I've given her time to improve her classroom, and she's in her second year. I've given her expectations to meet, and she needs to meet those. Personal and professional code of ethics. I think just getting the being concerned with the laws and district policies, shows that I'm concerned with the professional code of ethics. That there's policies in place. There's ethics that we all need to follow, and that I need to find out what those steps and processes are, and act accordingly. My personal code of ethics. I need to support teachers, while at the same time supporting students, and that's tough to do sometimes as an administrator. I think if you act in an ethical manner, most people will trust your judgment. Um, So that brings me to the end. It was an interesting case study. I'm sure I will have to deal with something like that as an administrator, and I hope I will handle it effectively.